There's three fundamentals and pillars that you must have inside of your consulting business to create long-term sustainable success. And this is not academic, it's not theoretical, this is what's actually working. And I say that based on building consulting businesses for over 20 years and for about almost 15 years now, working with thousands of consultants all around the world in many different industries, helping them to grow their consulting businesses. I've never encountered a business that has been successful for the long term that does not incorporate and ultimately optimize and master these three areas. So let's get into them. The first is actually a combination of two different pillars that I'm putting together because each individual kind of component or pillar is not effective. It's not powerful. It won't actually create the results that you want unless they are combined. So the first one is what we call ideal client clarity. The second one is called magnetic messaging. Now, ideal client clarity refers to how clear you are on your actual ideal client. The mistake that many consultants make, and even experienced consultants make, is that they treat too many potential buyers in the same way without recognizing and identifying the characteristics and criteria of the type of buyer that not only is most likely to invest in your expertise and get your help, but will also be the most profitable, most enjoyable, and the ones where you can make the greatest impact. An example of this might be that, and this is actually a real example for one of our clients that was generating around $800,000 or so per year when they reached out to us to get some help. And what we found as we went through a bit of an inventory and analysis of their client base is they were spending the same amount of time, in fact, even more time, focusing on smaller organizations as their client. Yet those small organizations contributed the minority of their revenue and profitability, while fewer larger companies in fact contributed the vast amount of their revenue and the much higher profitability. And so they were treating everyone the same. Their marketing, their messaging was speaking to the challenges and problems that the smaller companies had more than the larger companies. That one shift actually helped the company to double their revenue within about a year or so, because they became much more intentional targeting the actual ideal client. So that's what I'm referring to when I say ideal client clarity. And this is, again, valuable and effective whether you are new to consulting or you've been consulting for many years. The next one is magnetic messaging. And so magnetic messaging is really developing the message that gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients. Very often consultants think that they have a marketing problem. They're not getting as many leads as they'd like. They're not having as many conversations or meetings or appointments. And what we see very consistently is that the cause of that, the true cause, is not that the quote unquote marketing is broken. It's that they don't have these fundamentals in place. And one of the big ones here is your messaging. The marketing channel or tactic that you choose, whether it is being active on LinkedIn, whether it's writing articles, whether it is speaking, whether it is sending emails to people, all of these things can work, but they usually won't work if you don't have a message that gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients. That is a message that speaks to your ideal client, that makes it clear that you understand the problem they are facing or the result or outcome that they desire, and that you are positioned and experienced to help them to solve that problem or to achieve that result. That is what your message should do, right? It should call them out directly. Now, here's why these two go together so well. If you just have a message that does not incorporate and does not speak to your ideal client, your message, therefore, will be too vague, too broad, and will not target or get the attention and interest of your ideal client because it's not speaking to them, because it's too broad. If you're trying to speak to too many different types of people and say too many different things, you end up really just creating more noise. And so this is why it's so critical to first know who your ideal client is and then develop a message that will speak directly to them. Then when you incorporate that into your marketing channels and your overall kind of marketing, outreach and activities, most consultants start seeing significantly better results. So that is the first that we're going to talk about. The second is what we call business model optimization. Now, business model optimization refers to how do you take all of your years of experience, expertise, how do you package, position, place value, communicate that value, and then price your service offerings strategically, right? So packaging refers to how do you actually take your expertise and how do you start to build that in terms of the structure of your offerings, right? And how do you then position those offerings in a way that your ideal clients want what you are offering? There's many different ways to take any experience or expertise or product or service. You might position it as a retainer model. It might be one-off projects. You might have a discovery. You might have a productized offer, right? A subscription-based offer. There's many different ways that you can take what you have to offer and package it and position it in a way that will resonate and, essentially be what your clients want to buy. And a mistake that many consultants make is that they don't think enough about this. They just take what they have and they say, I'm going to go to the market with it. The problem is that oftentimes what you are offering to the market is not what the market wants to buy. And so that then requires a much longer sales cycle. It requires a lot more effort from you to try and educate or to persuade. But if you can figure out, and this is what we see the greatest success with our clients when we help them through this process, is to figure out what the ideal client actually wants to buy in the language that they use, and then incorporate that into your messaging, into your offers, right, into your conversations. It becomes much easier for buyers to buy because you're giving them what they want, as opposed to you to trying to push a heavy boulder up a hill. The next part is really about communicating that value. The opportunity here is to understand and learn how to have an effective value conversation with the buyer, where collectively or together you figure out, identify, talk through, right, discuss what is the value of solving this problem or taking a set of specific actions, right? What does the outcome mean for the person and for their organization or the greater community or the nonprofit and the stakeholders, so on and so forth. When you understand that, when you've identified that, and not only you, but also the person who is going to be the decision maker, and you're aligned about the value that you can create, you will find that the sales cycle typically becomes much shorter. You get a lot more yeses, and you're able to command significantly higher fees because your focus will shift from thinking about time and deliverables and how much involvement you're going to have to, well, what is the actual outcome? What is the value? And that delta or that gap between the two, that's kind of like your alpha, right? That you get to charge and earn significantly more while still delivering a significant and very, very positive return on investment for the buyer. But if you're rushing through conversations, if you're simply talking about deliverables or time, or you're talking only about your method and you're not talking about outcomes, you're not talking about value and results, then you're likely leaving tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars or equivalent currency on the table with every project you take on. At Consulting Success, in our Clarity Coaching program, we work with so many consultants where this is just a massive opportunity for them. We see it time and time again. Even people that have been consulting for many years, they have not optimized their pricing strategy. They have not optimized their offers. And so as soon as we start to work through that, every project becomes worth, in some cases, 50% more, 100% more, 200% more, and beyond, because you're learning how to truly talk about what you're offering in a way where the buyer sees the value and agrees with you about that value. So the value creation part, the positioning, the pricing strategy, that is all part of business model optimization. And I'll say one other thing here is that when we talk about the business model, we need to also talk about the structure of what is the actual business model that you're using. What you want to avoid is just doing what you see other people doing, thinking that's what you want. And you wake up one day, a few years later going, okay, I built this business, but I don't enjoy it. I feel overwhelmed. I'm not getting energy or excitement from it. I kind of feel burnt out. That happens when you're not clear on your business model, when you're not clear on what are you truly building towards, when you're not clear on your why. And so part of the business model optimization is to think through those things so that you build a business that truly supports the lifestyle that you want, instead of you having to make sacrifices in your own personal kind of lifestyle, relationships with family and other things that are important to you as a human being and as a person, right, just to support your business. So getting very clear with your business model and optimizing that is incredibly important. Now, let's talk about the third kind of fundamental or foundational part here. And this one is the one that for many people is very exciting, but it's critical that you actually go through what we talked about first: ideal client clarity, magnetic messaging, then business model optimization, before you get to the marketing engine and authority building. So let's talk about marketing engine and your authority building. This is the engine behind you building a pipeline of clients, creating an abundance of opportunities for you, getting in front of people who actually want and value your expertise and want to have conversations with you, and doing it in a way where they view you as the authority and as the expert, which not only means that more people actually end up coming to you as opposed to you always having to go to them, which is what everybody wants, right? But in addition to that, you're able to command higher fees because everyone understands that the expert and the authority in any given space will command the higher fees because they are viewed as the expert. Now, I've talked about before that if you're finding that your marketing is not currently generating the kind of results that you want, if you're not getting response, if you're not getting meetings, appointments, and ideal clients responding to you or reaching out to you. It's likely not a marketing problem by itself. You need to go back to your ideal client clarity and your magnetic messaging, as well as your offers, and make sure that all that is truly aligned and is set up in a way that is much more intentional, and you're using the proven methods. If that's something that you want some help with, just click on the link below this video or reach out to us at consultingsuccess.com, where we have a conversation with you about how we can help you to strengthen those areas inside of your business, because it truly makes a significant difference when you do. Well, let's get back to this, right? Marketing and selling to leaders and executives inside of organizations is not the same as B2C marketing, right? This is B2B, or what I like to often refer to as B2O, right? Business to organization, because consultants work with nonprofits and for-profits. These are both organizations, and many people in the nonprofit space don't always view themselves as working with other businesses. They're working with other organizations. This is why I say B2O. But these are very different from B2C, right? Business to consumer. And so you want to be careful about just grasping or embracing and studying approaches that are for the consumer market, because again, marketing to consumers is very different than marketing to a busy executive. So what are the keys that you should be including inside of your marketing engine to ensure that it creates the kind of results that you want? Well, the first thing is that your targeting needs to be on point. You need to, again, target your ideal client. If you're casting a very broad, wide net, your message is unlikely to resonate with anybody. You might find that you are spending a lot of time sending a lot of emails, a lot of activity, but you're not getting the response that you want. And it's, again, likely because you're not targeting the right person, or your message doesn't align with the person that you're targeting. So you're not going to get response unless you have those in place. The other thing is, a consultant, marketing is really about delivering insights and value. That is how you demonstrate your expertise. If you're working with a client already, you can just show them, right? You can demonstrate your expertise by doing great work. Or if you're already having a conversation with a prospective client, right, you can demonstrate your knowledge and expertise through asking great questions, right, and engaging in that conversation. But we're talking about marketing. We're talking about, how do you demonstrate your authority, your expertise, and that you really know what you're talking about before you have a conversation with somebody, or before you even kind of connect with them directly. And so that is through your content. The more insights that you share, the more value, and the more consistently that you show up, the more that you're going to find the marketplace will come to you. This is why people who are very active, whether it's through writing books, going on podcasts, doing videos, and giving talks, right? All of these things, they typically will be able to generate a lot more leads and inbound inquiries than those who are just doing a little bit. They're dabbling, right? When you're showing up consistently and you're delivering insights and value that is differentiated, it's not the same as everybody else in your marketplace, you will find that if you're targeting the right people and saying the right things, they will start to engage with you. But general, high-level content is not going to cut it. You need to be very specific. You need to give a lot of value. It needs to be thought-provoking, right? It needs to be based on your strong opinion. Because if you're saying the same thing as everybody else, then no one's going to take notice to what you're offering, and therefore your pipeline will suffer. This is part of building a marketing strategy that we help all of our clients with inside of our Clarity Coaching program. And I can tell you that many of our clients are able to generate 2-3 meetings, in some cases even more, every single week, as a result of having a strong marketing system and approach. That means 8 to 12 conversations with high value clients every single month. And for most consultants, right, you don't need tons of new clients all the time. You need a few high value clients, and you want to have a marketing engine that continues to fill that pipeline with opportunities for you. So if that's something, again, that you want to explore and get some help with, click on the link below this video or get in touch. We'll be happy to guide you through that process. All right, so we've talked about the marketing engine. There's so much more that we can go into and break this down, but I'd love to hear from you. If you can post a comment below this video and let me know what topics, as it relates to marketing or other aspects of growing your consulting business, you're most interested in, I would love to hear that from you, and then I can make a video about it for you. Thanks for watching, and talk soon.